Hey, welcome to Web3 Weekly with your host, Blockstar Technology.
Let's go.
All right. So welcome to the episode 53. Oh, is it have to go up a bit? All right. Am I growing up? Better? Better?
Yeah,
All right. Oh, that's good. All right. Awesome. Thank you. Nathan. What a way to start, Charlie. So episode 53, right? So
53.
what are we talking about today, man?
AI, blockchain, and how it can help businesses.
Everyone's talking about AI these days. I can't go to the shops without hearing AI.
I know.
It's my podcast talking about AI. So
The algorithms fed it to you,
yeah.
Fuzzy.
Anything I check is everything's about AI and probably less of blockchain these days and a lot more AI.
I think it's a lot of people in blockchain crypto are on latest technology. I remember 2018-19, a lot of crypto groups were using Zoom to host their little webinar or meetups.
Clubhouse as well.
Yeah, Clubhouse as well, TikTok as well. It's sort of, when you ingrain yourself in the crypto blockchain space, you learn a lot about other technologies. And with that, AI is everywhere at the moment. Like it's on
huge.
Mainstream news, it's on radio. You can't escape it if you tried. But there's still a lot of people out there not using it.
Yeah, and so guys, as Charlie said, so we're going to talk about blockchain AI and how that impact today's business. So on that note, we would really appreciate if you guys got any questions, please send them through, because end of the day, this has to be like a two-way or whichever, how many platforms that we have here. So almost 7-8 platforms now. So all of you guys who are joining us today, please get involved. If you have any questions, if you have anything to add, please let us know. And I think it's good to talk about this and how AI and blockchain can really help when it comes to businesses. We know when it comes to personal, even personal as well, not just business, right?
Yep.
So, all right. On that note, let's get into it.
All right.
So,
we're starting, Cuzzy.
All right. Let's start with blockchain.
Yep.
Right, blockchain. So before we get into the nuts and the bolts of blockchain, we are still hearing people asking, "What is blockchain?" Right? I think people who are in the blockchain, I'm pretty sure that they're fed up hearing like about blockchain. Why do you want to talk about the blockchain? What is blockchain? They're like, but unfortunately, people out there when they hear about Blockstars and we say like, oh, we are a solution provider, we are in the emerging tech, we do AI and blockchain, the technologies. They straight away like, oh, what is blockchain? Isn't it crypto? That's what the first thing that comes out, right?
Yep.
So I think it's important for us to talk a little bit about what is blockchain.
Yeah. In business too.
Yeah, in business too. Yes.
In business. So I guess the best way for me to describe it to someone that's in business would be blockchain. There's many different blockchains. There's many different consensus models that you can use, but the typical one we're seeing is Hyperledger Fabric, where picture it as a immutable cloud sitting on your normal database. So you'll have your database that's recording, can be edited, can be adjusted by your IT team, but on the back end of that, there's a duplicate database that records who deletes something, who updates something, the reason why, if you've got that put in there, and it's also timestamped and can never be edited. So with that, if some auditor comes in, you can say, hey, this is our blockchain system. This is full transparency of what you can view that we done. Anything that was deleted is still here. We've got a record of it.
And I think
would be a good way of explaining it. And you don't need Bitcoin or Ethereum to use these blockchains, which is another one we've come across.
That's huge. So so people are like, okay, what do we build on the blockchain, right? Do they have to? It's like, oh yeah, I hear it, but they are interested because they think like, oh, they have to use a whole different system, a different technology. They have to introduce people. They have to teach people how to use the blockchain, like how to use the internet type of deal when the internet came out, right? And but then as you explained, you don't have to teach anyone how to use the blockchain because it's another ecosystem of almost like another database. No one teaches how to use a database.
No one had to teach you how to use cloud.
Yeah.
It syncs up and it does what it does.
Yeah.
What is even though because you would have lived through this a lot, and I have too. What is the cloud?
Yes, what's the cloud?
What's the cloud? The
Yeah,
cloud.
yeah.
What is the cloud?
That's it.
Same aspect.
Same thing, right? So
except you don't need to worry about your cloud provider going down because you are the person with that, and if it does go down, you can easily restart it, and all that data and information it will still be logged in there.
But you're talking about the blockchain. You're talking about is more like the private.
Blockchain, and it's private as well. Yeah.
Which is you also not everyone outside will see it, but then at the same time, then you have the public blockchain, which is which crypto is built on.
Yeah, well, you've got to have your crypto. Well, not necessarily public. There are private cryptocurrencies such as Monero, Zcash. That work in their ways, which I'm always interested. How do you know if there's a double spend attack?
But trust in the system.
But
right?
yeah, with Bitcoin, for instance, it's got to be public, so you can always look and verify. Hey, this is what's actually going on in the system, and anybody in the world can because it's a decentralized system, and that's why it needs to be public.
Yeah.
So everybody in the network or anyone looking at the network can verify it's working as it should. With a private system that you own, where you're using, for instance, the Hyperledger Fabric as a back-end database, a connection for an immutable ledger, immutable database, that doesn't need to be public. That can be locked down by you, and it comes with high security by default with blockchain technology.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, right? So if it's and that information is more like towards the technical people, right? And for business owners, like say a CEO, not a CTO. CTOs are technically minded, so even like a CEO who's not in a tech industry CEO, but a non-tech service provider, like basically a CEO or CFO. How would this benefit them? In a sense, like
fraud within your business. You see a lot of that. I think there was a case recently on the Gold Coast of an employee stealing over $450,000, which, if they're on the IT side as well, they can remove those traces. Using blockchain, that eliminates that. You'll always have a record. The people working on those systems will know if you choose to tell them, but we're using immutable records and everything can be tracked and traced.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, right? We always say, like, people say, oh, that all that information got logged anyway in the database. But then people forget that no one in the business have access to the database apart from the IT people.
Yep.
Right, IT people still got access to the database that they can go and change things. And we're not saying, okay, don't trust IT people, but that's
people outside of the business who are in the IT industry can also access that on certain.
We've seen with so many providers that got hacked, right?
Yep.
So in that sense, with the blockchain, is a awesome tool or solution to stream, or not stream out. Let me use a word like to save all activity that happens within the database, like almost like
within that system.
Yeah, like an uneditable data storage.
Yeah, unedited data storage.
It's like a spreadsheet, but you can't edit it. It's only write only.
Yeah, you can update it, and you can remove stuff, but there will always
can you remove stuff?
Well, there on the normal database.
On the normal database, of course, yeah.
But there will be an update saying, "Hey, that's been deleted by Charlie."
Yeah. But all that, whether they're adding it and deleting and updating, all the information can go on the blockchain. That the blockchain can, pretty much run the sequence of exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think even when we say blockchain on the blockchain, that's confusing for
that's
people.
Confusing.
On the immutable database,
the immutable data,
maybe more relevant to people.
Yes, the uneditable database.
Uneditable database.
Yeah. So okay, so that's what we see, like, it's good for auditing, keeping a track of things. So if you talk about keeping using the blockchain to track things like events that happen at a given point of time,
Yep.
and if that information, or if that's not editable, and first thing that comes to my mind is supply chain tracking, like
Yes.
supply chain,
Yep.
right?
There's already good use cases around the
Hmm.
world for supply chain tracking.
Hmm.
And it also speeds up their processes when
Mm.
when you use blockchain technology in supply chain management,
Hmm.
which I always use the case of Walmart, done a proof of concept. It was taking them 7 days to trace from the farm, for instance, or the fishing trawler to the shelf. And if there was anything wrong with that, it would take them 7 days to go and backline and see where everything come from,
Hmm.
where it was produced, what happened. When they introduced blockchain, they cut that down to 2 to 3 minutes, and they're currently using that system as we speak.
and and at the same time, we need to think about so that's the supply chain, and part of the supply chain is like when it comes to manufacturing as well, and the quality control, right? Okay, where did the food come from? Where the salmon or the tuna.
Well, a perfect example would be in Australia. Recently, we had the needles in the strawberries, and Coles and Woolworths had to remove strawberries for a week or two.
And
Where,
they bring everything out, right?
yeah,
And there's a Salmonella attack on the
Salmonella.
Salmonella, yeah, exactly, some Salmonella. Yeah, Salmonella, and yeah.
And instead of removing it from all shelves around the country for safety reasons, they could have used the Walmart blockchain system or their own blockchain system. I would advise for Woolworths or Coles. And they would know exactly what farm it come from, know exactly where that farm produce landed on which shelves, and be able to just remove those certain shops.
Yes. Yep.
So maybe a whole state of Queensland wouldn't have had to remove any strawberries.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that. Actually, I read this like a while ago. I don't know when did I read this one. Even the De Beers have their own blockchain to track the diamonds, like anything that from the time that they mine the diamonds all the way going to the retail, the shops.
Well, diamonds are good because they've got a technique where they laser engrave the inside of the diamond, so it goes all the way through.
Okay, so that way you can't really just rub it off.
You
use your teeth to rub it off
because diamonds they get shaped, they go through numerous things, but this actually gets laser engraved into it. A little, say, QR code, for instance. It's not exactly a QR code,
but a serial number that can be tracked
throughout. There's a little
throughout.
etch in there that can always be traced.
Yeah. Didn't they? Who's that in Brisbane? We had the guys. What are they called? Man, I forgot about them. And they had a similar thing here that to track diamonds. So
diamonds and wine and all
and,
sorts. And I think we met Christian at Blockchain Week.
Yes,
they've got the QR code, the unique QR codes. Everyone's totally
from
unique.
Japan, right? From Sony, I believe that was.
They won the Sony or Samsung startup event with that technology for digital goods. That it was quite interesting.
And I think with that type of technology now coming in and then putting that on the blockchain and then like tracking throughout the process, and I feel like it's still wherever humans are still involved, there is a chance of it's being tampered with. I mean, when you look at the diamonds, that's a perfect thing, but no one can remove the label, or no one can, put another like
human and put a
exactly right.
Can take some bad diamonds and say they came through that legit mine,
but then
it minimizes it.
It minimizes it, but at the same time, it's like if you have already recorded that serial number on the blockchain, or say let's not call it blockchain, but in that platform system, and you say like, oh sorry, this already been recorded somewhere. If it's not if it's not, and then someone put it like a real diamond, it's like it's recorded, then they're like, oh, there has been some bad diamond gone through the system, and they can track where is that bad diamond is and who bought that bad diamond.
Yep.
And then they can record it or look at, okay, who sold that bad diamond. And I think that's what people are not, I think people see it, but as companies or service providers, I think they need to be educated on the blockchain technology, the benefits, I would say.
Yeah, and some of it will require industry changes.
Of
Whether
course.
those industries want to change as well
Yes.
is another story.
Yeah. Because there are no
I think-
regulation, right?
I think the big one though will be, as the Walmart we're talking about earlier, will be food. People want to know where their food come from.
Yeah.
Like, is
Now
my,
more than ever, right?
is my fish fresh? I
Yes.
can scan a QR code. I don't even know I'm using blockchain.
Yes.
I can scan that QR code and it goes, hey, it was caught on this trawler 2 days ago. It was stored at this temperature. It landed in the port of Brisbane or the fishing trawlers near the spit there. And at this date, and then got taken to
Processed.
Cherish Seafood
Yeah.
or the supermarket by this date, and you're buying it that afternoon. So so it was caught 2 days ago. Where
But I think
food's a big one. People are
It's-
really caring
yeah.
about what's been sprayed on their food, what pesticides were involved, how fresh is it, when was it caught, and I think that'll be a popular one to start off with, and other things will come through. Like diamonds are a big one because there's worldwide legislation around not receiving blood diamonds, for instance.
And that's huge, right? So let's talk about how with the blockchain we got the tracking side of things, but the whole thing is about now the security, right, on the blockchain, like with the data, like we talk about now. This might not be purely blockchainish, but it's like the zero knowledge, like we got the zero knowledge proofs with the blockchain creates that zk sync, like from Starkware, right? Like what they, and I think I tweeted this thing this morning from Argentina, right? Buenos Aires, and what they are doing is they're using zk sync to their IDs now in Argentina. And that way, I think the beauty of that is, guess what? You still hold your details private for you, but still, if the police stops you in the middle of the road, they can still verify you.
Yeah, they don't. You don't need to give away all your information.
All your information, because at the end of the day, it's yours, right?
Yeah.
And and we know that we
maybe the police don't. You're not too worried giving it to the police,
Well,
but to a lot of websites, certain websites
Yeah.
out there that require ID.
But even the police, right? I don't know. We take it lightly because we never knew any other way. We didn't know anything better than that, right? So we always knew, like, oh, let's pull our driver's license and just show the details. It has our home address, all that stuff. But end of the day, if what do a police, like, what do they really need to know? Are you the
Your
owner of the
name.
car? Are you registered to drive it, or are you over 18 and things like that, right? Do they need to know where you live? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I don't know the law, right? But I read
I think
somewhere.
by law you've got to give name, date of birth, and address. But
maybe
you
those,
don't need to hand that to a certain individual, because there is things that do happen.
Yeah.
And if you can get that scanned and say, yes, you're
Over
that
18.
person, yes, you've got a valid license,
Yeah.
yes, they are the registered owner of this car.
That's exactly it. And I think maybe the law was there because that law was pretty much built for that technology. But given now where we are going, where we are heading,
Yes.
they had to be updated so that
law was created when driver's licenses were probably still paper.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So maybe that it's time for people like technologists to think, okay, how can we push this boundary? And that might not be regulated, that might not be legal today, but I mean, people owning about owning data. Now I would like, oh, that never crossed my mind, I should own my own data. But something like this, if it made available, why wouldn't you own your own data rather than just, if you lose your driver's license, what happens?
It's like, hey, I'm happy to give it to you, but pay me for it.
Yeah.
Pay me for my data.
Drop me some tokens.
Yeah.
CBDCs? No. Yeah, I mean, so I think that's what, really, looking at this, the new blockchain, like how the, that use can be used when it comes to ID. Now, if you talk about that, we're talking about the government part. What about the companies, like private companies who, doing their employee ID cards, and that can be used at the moment. Like, it's fine. Like, I saw a video on YouTube that, I guess you can only watch videos on YouTube. Can you do audios as
There's
well?
Venmo.
Yeah, right. There that, one of the hackers, like how they scan and use these employee IDs, like because of the NFC, just like, they just stand close to them and just scan it and then use them.
Yep.
And they were saying like, okay, the blockchain could be the one that could stop that. Now, I don't know exactly how that's possible, and he didn't say exactly how it's possible either. So I'm keen to find out.
Yeah, well, there's even when you have data breaches, does Medicare
100%.
need all of your details, or could they use a zero knowledge proof?
Yeah. And we saw other day, I saw
Medibank.
Medibank, yeah. And here, even like we're coming up with this, what do you call, the skill passports and all sort of things, right, in Australia, right?
Yeah.
And are they using something that is like still database, and here's my details, and what if that get hacked? I mean, like, it's like a gold mine, right?
Well, if it does, Charlie was the top investment banker, future economist of the year. Just putting it out there if anyone does.
That's the thing, is like,
but you can have your if that in 10 years is the gold standard.
Yes,
it drives people towards hacking that, and if that ever goes down, well, a lot of people can find themselves in trouble.
And I think that's what I think. Rather than, I think the governments, before they come out with this new, okay, here's another ID or here's another thing, I think before that, I think they should look at this zero knowledge, type of identification built in, so that users get to own their data. And
the thing is, zero knowledge proofs isn't even tied into blockchain.
It's not.
I've done a LinkedIn post on this.
Yes.
It's a technology. It's, again, crypto bros and blockchain people
picked it up
first on that technology. Yes. And you hear about it, a lot of it in the blockchain space. But what about the technology people outside of blockchain? Like, do they really know?
I guess they never found the reason.
Does, or do they? How many people are looking at that technology outside of blockchain?
I would say the reason why the blockchain crowd got onto it, because they value privacy more than anything else, right? Yep. How many people would, on LinkedIn, how many people do you see with an avatar? Like, hardly any.
Two. I know two now.
Yeah, probably, right? I know only one, I think Heavy or something like that, right?
Yeah.
From the on-chain monkeys. He got one of those, right? I remember him, right? But no one else, right? But when you go to on X/Twitter, I mean, I would say more than 90%. No, in the crypto space, hardly anyone uses their real,
unless they're a YouTuber where they've already put their face out
there, right?
Yeah.
And so in a space like that, I think that's why they were looking for, okay, we are decentralized, right? And how can we use our own our own data? We don't have to share that data. End of the day, that privacy is important. So how can we still be part of an ecosystem, but without giving out all the details? Like KYC, you have to scan your face, open your mouth, put the camera inside your mouth, and all that stuff, right?
And then it still asks you to do it again.
Exactly.
Do it again.
Yeah. And then when you want to get into that, were to pull out funds or something like that, then you have like 6 different verifications, and by the time you enter, it's like too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it sort of started in the blockchain crypto space for layer twos. Being able to bulk those
Yes.
transactions, having a layer two without needing a lot of security, and being able to just send those transactions through to a layer one, such as Ethereum as well. And then other people jump on because it's all open source, and it's like, oh, hey, what about if we do it? You know, what happens if we do IDs?
Yes.
Oh, like what happens if we start our own chain? We'll just use zero knowledge proofs because it'll be cheap as anything. And we can bulk send through to layer one,
like roll-ups and stuff like that.
And that's only the start. That's
Yes.
like maybe what, the last year and a half?
I would say so.
Zero
No,
knowledge proofs
maybe they did, but really came to light, I would say, in the last maybe 8 to 10 months.
Yeah.
Before that, it was happening, but no one was like,
Well, what is it? Starknet has been around for a long. They've been around a long time.
Yeah, and now it's only like a ZK Sync, and I think last year.
And that's what Immutable X is built on.
The Starknet, that's right.
Technology that they built, which a lot of people don't know.
Don't know, So now the blockchain can be used when it comes to ID. Yep. Like effectively, we talk about tracking.
Well, zero knowledge proofs and blockchain.
That's right.
I don't know about putting your ID on Ethereum or minting an NFT of your driver's license.
Yeah, that is not really going to work.
Why have I got to like 20 credit cards?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to do like all 1155s.
Buy an ID, just pay me.
Yeah. Buy my ID. So I guess like you can really see like those many areas, and when it comes to, like, for example, I really think the vehicles, right, records can go on the blockchain, because still we are using these books and things, and I saw a service book, right? This was maybe about 9-10 years ago, right? Yep. Went to buy a car, and I got, can I have a look at the service book, right? Service book, it got all like greased up and all this stuff, so I could not read what's in there.
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, have you what did you replace here? Oh, we replaced this, and here's a invoice. Okay, like what that invoice all about? I don't even know what that invoice has relation to.
It's faded all the
what's on the book. What's on the book, right? But here's an invoice. Now, how do I know this invoice is related to this record?
Yep.
I didn't know this. So there were quite a few of things like this, and I'm like, I told my wife, like, I don't think this car was ever been serviced. To be honest, right? I don't know, right? But now when I see the blockchain, I was like, you know what? Let's put it on that one, so that I don't have to trust this book or this invoice or this person. I should be able to just verify it, just one single location.
And that's just the system of any mechanic uses that says, we've done this service, this date, this car VIN number.
Yeah.
Send it to the system. They don't know it's blockchain. They don't know anything, but that will be recorded forever.
That will be recorded forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that's such a... So what we're talking about here is the reason why I think it's a little bit loaded as well, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring from supply chain tracking, which is supply chain management, on manufacturing, which is like the billion-dollar businesses, bringing right down to your local garage, could be part of a network of a system that can use blockchain.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. You need like billions of dollars to be part of this blockchain thing, because it's just part of the ecosystem, Yeah. And I think, that's going to bring so much value. And do you think that it's going to help with the insurance as well, the premiums? Because now, no one can fudge it. So now we can have a lot more trust on this data that we are seeing, so that like, that way we are, the premiums could be lowered. I don't know. Worth finding out. And that could be a good marketing angle for those blockchain companies who are going to pitch ideas of how to use blockchain in an enterprise.
So how would it lower insurances?
Because then your risk is lower, right? If your risk is lowered.
Yeah, well, how would that... Just explain
because
that to me
say for
quickly.
example, now the risk, as the risk goes higher, say for example, now when I go to insure, like health insurance for example, right? If I have diabetes, then I'm a high risk,
Yep.
so my premium goes up, so I pay more than for the same for cover.
Yep.
But if I'm fit as a fiddler, if I'm as fit as Nathan with like 4 guns,
Yeah.
like 2 guns in each arm, right? My premium is lowered because I'm not a high risk. I'm healthy,
Yeah.
so low risk, right? So then so that way insurance companies like, okay, yeah, it's low risk, and that's why when you look for your postcode where you live, based on your postcode, your insurance could be for the same car is different.
Yep.
If it's
It
high crime,
changes.
it goes up. If it's low crime, then it goes down.
Yeah. Yep.
So same thing if your business is built on certain thing using as solutions that lowers the risk factor of a business, you pay less when it comes to
Yep.
insurance. Your
Yep.
premiums are less, and this is what I feel like that you can really benefit. Blockchain. Okay, there are some real cool benefits, but then there's like cost savings could happen in the real world.
Well, I think the good one would be, and people have spoken about this for years in crypto, the crypto circle. I've seen it. Haven't seen one. Like there's a few businesses out there. I'm not aware of any real
Mhm.
successful ones on there. Maybe there is, and I just don't know because they don't have a token for me to buy. But the
Yes.
medical, as you said,
Mhm.
putting your health records on a blockchain where if I get into a scooter accident in
Mm.
Thailand or Bali,
Mm.
they can easily scan my ID or my passport and know my blood type, my medical
Mm.
records from Australia
Yeah.
within the system,
Clean
because you
system.
could have a global system
Yeah.
that all these hospitals talk to,
Mm.
doctors talk to, that can handle it all. And it's only if it's
Mm.
in crisis or you're overseas or something. Like at the
Yeah.
moment, if I got into an accident on a scooter in Thailand or Bali
Yeah.
and
You had
I'm
to.
knocked out,
Yeah. No one
how
knows, right?
no one knows
Yeah.
unless I've got someone with me that can say
Yeah.
my name and that they can get my ID and then,
Mm.
oh, hey, Melbourne,
Yeah.
can you? No, he's never been to
He's
our
never been.
hospital.
Exactly, right. You guys been
Sydney
chasing
is,
around.
yeah.
So
Sorry, we can't share that information
yeah,
with you when they do manage to get to the Gold Coast, no doubt.
that's it. That's it. So um, now what I want to like steer the conversation away from the blockchain. Oh, you know what? It'll have blockchain somewhere there, but I want to go into the AI,
Yep,
artificial intelligence, right?
yep.
Your mate, your best mate is AI, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
love it.
We get along
I love
very
it,
well. Yeah.
right? Exactly. So when you come to AI, there are quite a few different AIs.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got generative AI, which generates something out of nothing, and you got the predictive AI, which looks at something and predicts something, and based on like scientific data, like statistics and things like that, like statistic analysis. So that's that. And then you got your machine learning. That's not AI, but that's like machine learning, like So there are all these different.
Visual.
Yeah, right. So that's part of machine learning, right? So now we have all these different things, and you know when people talk about AI, they think, okay, chat GPT, right? It's almost like blockchain,
Yep. Yep.
bitcoin crypto is blockchain, and now it's like, oh, AI, oh, chat GPT. No, chat GPT is just one of those use cases.
Yep.
you know
Yep.
and so I feel like yesterday I was talking to someone, and he was talking about, oh, we're going to chat GPT part of our business, and I'm like, what are you doing? We're going to chat GPT this part of the business, right? And I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, maybe, okay, I think what I know what he's talking about. So okay, like, okay, so I said, so what part of the chat GPT, right? And he said, we're gonna get chat gpt to takes look at fraud, like people's pictures, and do and chat gpt will do all that. I'm like, okay. So I said, who's gonna what happens, like, yeah, we're gonna do everything with chat gpt. I'm like, okay, like, how, so obviously he used the word that he's like, forget about all AI stuff. Things like Chat GPT.
What's the AI logo? What's the
Like
known
it's
logo
like the
of
Chat
AI?
GPT
Chat
logo.
GPT logo.
Isn't it? And same with
All the
blockchain for
brain,
Bitcoin.
all the half brain one
Yeah.
you see every now and again, but
it's all
Chat GPT,
Chat GPT logo, right? So
Yeah.
my thing is now when
branded.
yeah, like it's like, okay, I'm not searching on the internet anymore. I'm Googling.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a similar thing. Oh, I'm going to Chat GPT that.
Google it.
Yeah. Right?
Chat GPT.
Yeah. And so what I want to know, so that tells me like ChatGPT has gone into people don't understand what ChatGPT does or what AI is, but they know, okay, like, oh, it can do this. And now they're imagining thing, and then they say, okay, let's encapsulate that using ChatGPT. And okay, this problem is ChatGPT's problem.
I don't know though, but with what he said, is that new ChatGPT visual stuff that's coming out.
Holy, come
that
on, let's
can
talk about
read the
that.
image.
All right, let's.
That is crazy. That is crazy good.
So what is that? That is.
So that's where they've now got ChatGPT, which it's slowly rolling out. I'm dirty. I haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
The Sam
Bankman?
Altman.
Yeah, Sam Altman. No, not Sam Bankman.
He won't be able to help nobody except for Big Bubba that's tied up next to him,
God.
Bankman. But yeah, Sam Altman, I'm waiting. Come on, Australia, ChatGPT-4 users. I need that visualization to start playing around because code interpreter, love it.
Love it, right?
Nathan loves it too, don't you, Nathan?
Yeah.
And so on a whiteboard, I've seen a few demos.
Yep.
Someone has taken a screenshot of a SaaS platform visualization dashboard for an admin.
Like a workflow.
No, this is another one where they've taken a screenshot of the dashboard.
Yes.
For instance, I was showing Kai earlier today, with graphs and bars and side menus, and uploading that and saying, create the code for me for this. And it created the template, the UI design in code.
Yes.
Obviously, it had the bars and it was all stock standard, so you've still got to create that back end,
of course,
for it to be actual data getting fed in. But yeah, even the other one, because I was showing you the other day,
the workflow,
where he draws on a whiteboard, and it's amazing. Like, it's like input your name, which think of like a type form. I'm trying to describe this to everyone listening and watching.
Typeform is a platform that you create forms online.
Forms. Yep. And he drew a box and said name, and then drew another box. Well, he actually drew a box and said email, then drew a box said name, and then he drew arrows saying to swap that around.
Mm-hmm.
And when he uploaded that photo into the ChatGPT-4 visualization tool, it knew to create the code and swap that around where it asked for the name first and the email next. And then also on the next whiteboard box he done, he said, after user inputs name, always request to talk to them using their name.
Okay.
And it knew to put in the person's name from the first spot. So
this is like,
I'm only just seeing it coming out. It's only just rolling, but I need to get in and play and find out what I can do there and try break it and push it to its boundaries.
I mean,
and know it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, 100% right. And I remember this was in 2007-ish. Maybe 2006 actually. 2006 maybe. No. It's well before that. 2005. 2005 actually. Yes.
Yeah.
What happened was I did a Oracle a diploma in Oracle, so that they did a whole showing like, okay, this is how Oracle database works, and these are the things that Oracle provides.
So what's an Oracle database?
Yeah, Oracle database. So it's like it's like just like MySQL database.
Yep.
It's like Oracle is one of the biggest brands in the world. I think that they're the largest the database provider.
Yep.
In the world, Oracle, they power most of the banks and all that. And they had a part of that was another software where once you create not your ER diagram, but your data diagrams, data flow diagrams. Okay, this is how the data you want to flow through, and you can generate your app from that. And we were like, wow, that is cool. So pretty much from ERD, you create the data flow diagrams. From data flow diagrams, you create the Oracle app,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And it's like, wow, that is so cool. And like it's like a no code,
No code tool.
no code platform. Yeah, no code tool. And then now you're seeing, okay, you just put it on a whiteboard, you take a photo and just put it into, chat GPT, and chat GPT is smart enough to now, translate all that and
Yep.
create platforms. My thing is like, we have enough out there. We have plenty of infographics. We have plenty of infrastructure diagrams. What's stopping someone uploading a white paper or a requirement spec of a software and then let it build a platform for you?
Yeah, we're not.
I
We're
don't think we are
far off.
far
We're
off
not
either.
far off,
Maybe
which
months,
is
not maybe years, maybe months.
yep.
And I think even the phones are getting a lot more powerful now, and those chips and stuff. I think that's going to be.
And I think it's going to be awesome because these people that are great at ideas didn't have money to pay for a big company to develop that or do that, or they just wanted a proof of concept, for instance, to pitch or whatever reasons, or some 12-year-old kid that wants to get into app development. It is so much easier for them.
Oh,
it's going to be so much easier,
right. And that's great.
You're still going to need to know the workings, so there'll still be you still need to do some courses so you get that terminology. Well, at the moment you do, when you can upload a spec document and then it creates it for you.
But then again, do they need to know? Because like, look, this is what happens like, in the process, right? Early days, we had assembly language where you had to say manually, okay, your memory allocation and how the memory should be allocated in the hardware, in a very low level, like at the very silicon level, right? You have to specify, and if you get that wrong, you could burn the CPU. Right? You could burn the CPU literally, because that time they didn't have the security on the CPU level, but now it just cuts off, so you can't burn, like you can't write a virus and just burn CPU. So when we did assembly, you had to know how to code assembly, right? You had to know, okay, how the architecture is built. You had to based on that. But then we had, from that on, we had C, that all like that, and you got C++, a little bit abstract, a little bit come up to the top, and then you got Visual Basic. Man, when Visual Basic 3, I started with Visual Basic 3, and I'm like, oh my god, assembly, bye bye. I am straight on to Visual Basic 3, and you know what that did? That made me forget about what really matters in a certain point, right? Like, I don't have to know about how to allocate memory, not like in C. I could not do C. For some reason, that's one language I could never ever wrap my head around.
I tried a course years ago on that. No, C++. And
I don't know, for some, you either you made for it or I feel like it's like DNA thing.
It's very mathematical.
I think there's like libraries and how that works, right? So then we have Visual Basic, and then now what we're doing. So as more and more language, like if you look at Node, right? You don't know, really, like, I think it all got started from Ruby on Rails, where you don't really start thinking of how that works. You just work on delivering, the project, right? And for me, I'm just thinking like, more and more developers now don't hardly think of the resources, because okay, it's running a bit slow. Let's ramp up that cloud memory.
Throw more money at it.
It's so cheap.
We're not fixing it up. Throw more money at it.
You know what I mean? And that's why I hear like,
and you've got the scaling and everything these days.
And you got scaling, and let's create like, let's get Kubernetes to spawn, right?
But in that, our head developer, he can build those systems because he's got a lot of that previous.
From Java,
he's got a lot of that previous knowledge, so it ends up a lot cheaper, faster. There is that, that knowledge of a lot of things. You too, Cozzy. You're like, oh yeah, no, here, like this. That's how that works. Where I know what you mean, but there's
But
still knowing a
no,
certain one of those things.
yeah, but I think more as we move forward, I think we'll have less and less knowledge of how the inner workings of a platform, and more about delivery.
Well, what was it like when WordPress came out?
WordPress come out.
Like,
I never
we've gone
used
through
WordPress. It's funny
the
that
assembly and stuff,
I
and
used
then
Drupal.
WordPress comes or Drupal, where
Yeah, I
you
used
just drag
Drupal.
and drop. And
No, I didn't even do drag and drop. I got into Elementor very late, right?
yeah,
It was all hand coding. I come from a hand coding background,
yeah,
and I use Dreamweaver, and people are like, "Oh my god, you're not using." I use a WYSIWYG editor, which is like Dreamweaver, and I'm like, "Oh, what is that you use?" You're not a pure coder, and I'm like, I'm not a pure programmer. Like, I'm
yeah,
like a shit programmer, but I'll get shit done. That's what I used to, but not anymore,
yeah,
not
yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
right? And so then what I'm saying is, like, more and more we are more abstract now. Like, we don't really look at, oh, how this thing work in the inner, how does the memory impact. But no, because most of the frameworks now do that. But I don't want to go too much into that. I just want to talk about AI. So let's bring it all the way back to AI, right? I'm going to pull myself out myself. Charlie, I was expecting you to pull me out, man.
I was loving it. I was enjoying it.
So when it comes to AI,
Yep.
where do you think a business, if you do the same thing like what we did with the blockchain, right? Enterprise level businesses, the middle tier, for a small one-man band or one-woman band, mom and pop stuff, how would AI help these businesses?
Customer support
It's huge.
is
isn't it?
huge one. A lot of companies taking that one on. It's fairly easy
Hmm.
to do as well.
When you say fairly easy, what do you mean?
Well, a lot of people can do it.
Makes sense.
You're not creating something new. It's a chat base. You've got to feed it your own data though, and it's all text to text. So your customer support bot is helping a lot. Now, if you want a customer support telephone conversation, well, that's another story where that needs to be designed from scratch, and there's a lot more things coming into that, from voice to voice.
Yeah.
And having no latency in there and speeding that up. It's quite a bit of technology in there, but it needs to be built. And yeah, we've seen a lot of customer support bots popping up, a lot of SaaS systems at the moment. Unfortunately, a lot of companies are laying off their customer support for that reason, or other ones are upskilling their customer support.
Yeah.
You still need it there, but it's doing a lot of the
heavy
job
lifting
for
isn't it?
people. And then your automation, like, it's hard on that one for me, because as we say, like, there's you don't want to give away a lot of your data and your automation, because you can automate emails, you can automate your cold emailing, but you have to give permission from
to,
your,
if it's a custom, like, no, unless it's a custom,
well, if it's custom in-house,
that's different. But if you start using ChatGPT, that
if you chat GPT that, everyone's going to,
your
you've
IP,
got
intellectual
access
property.
into it, and there's a lot of ones coming out, like a lot of tools, but you're giving away everything. You're giving away everything. At least they plainly state it now. Like, there's a platform where you can take a few selfies of yourself, for instance, and then it turns into professional LinkedIn photos for you. But in there it says, we own all your images. We can do what we want with your images, and you've got no leg to stand on because you've given us your images.
That's it.
And it's like, hey, what can actually happen to my images here? Like, this company's fairly new.
Yeah,
they haven't been around for very, very long. Like,
how much trusting the data?
But as you said, Kazi, the custom solutions we build and we can build, keeping those in-house, that's the important thing for big business. But
saying
automation, risk management as well, if you've got anything with risk, the AI is perfect to just pull out that and then give you warnings. And once you feed it on that data.
But the things I'm waiting for is Nathan doing my Hey Jane avatar. Oh my
yeah,
God, can you
we've
believe?
given ourselves away. So if there's some video that isn't under Blockstars and Hagen's taken all the rights of me
Yeah,
and using it on advertising, I'm happy with it.
yeah. I mean, like, how would you know that it's AI? Like, do you see like a twitch or something, like funny twitch?
I don't know. I'm gonna test it. I trained it for 5 minutes, not
Did
the
you?
3 minutes. I gave it 5 minutes worth
Oh
of
my God,
training.
you're all in, mate.
And then I'm going to back it up with 10 minutes of training for Nathan and just see how much better it gets.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And after
But
that,
yeah, a lot of
yeah.
people, like we were at an event not too long ago, me and Nathan, and it was talking about AI and marketing. Great marketing. If you're not good at SEO, you're not good at blogs, perfect for it. You can whip out content very quickly using ChatGPT. You can ChatGPT that.
Yeah.
And then also a lot of people can do, a lot of people don't like to be on video.
That's right.
They get camera shy. They don't want to be on there and doing that. So something like HeyGen can, you record yourself, you do that, and then you create your own videos. You don't got to worry about your arms.
Yeah, arms and,
all them
and also.
So that's perfect. I think that's really going to be an increase. YouTube just created, coming out with the YouTube Create, where text to video.
Yep.
I've seen a demo of Panda drinking a coffee.
All right.
There's a video, Panda drinking a coffee.
Yeah.
So YouTube's come in there. And yeah, I think they would be the main ones. So automation, speeding up processes, brainstorming, good for brainstorming.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
like there was a process recently in our office where this process last year, it was the first time I'd done it. Last year, it took me in and out of doing other things, of course, but it took me about 2 weeks to do.
Yeah.
This year, last year I was AI in it, but my prompting wasn't that good. Wasn't that good. I'm getting a lot better. Since
but again, the AI was not that good.
And the AI wasn't that good either. We didn't even have ChatGPT-4.
No, when was that one? That was like in November,
September. Yeah, early third, fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But that took me. Yeah. So let's say it took me a full 40-hour week to do these documents we needed to do. I this year, along with a good prompt in ChatGPT-4, got double the amount of required documentation done in 8 hours.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that's a optimization, like process optimization at a whole different level.
Yep.
And given and so these businesses, right, when companies, if they use AI, not I don't say properly, but if they use AI to, rather than, we can replace people using customer service instead of something like that. If they say, look, let's give all these people, empower them to use it, but say
yeah, well, it was like in the office when I shared a few months back, the guy that had connected Mick Wrigley on Twitter. Mick Wrigley? I always forget his name. I know the Mick and it comes up on my profile. He's got awesome AI content. And he was one of the first to connect ChatGPT to his watch and then talk to his watch through Siri.
That's right.
And update his code base.
It
was a public code base, guys. Don't upload your company private code base source code, because other people will be able to access that. And he was able to change a certain bit of his code and get it updated on
deployment.
Deployment. And I shared that with the team here. And Marcus commented, going, "You single-handedly excited Nalunga and scared the rest of us." Scared the hell out of the rest of us. I said, I wrote back with the Oprah Winfrey meme, pointing the fingers at everybody, banging them off, going, "You're a project manager. You're a project manager," because when we get to that stage where it will actually work and they're not stealing the source code or letting other people access it, when we can do that, our developers will be upskilled. Like, how
Yes.
many projects can we take on with a developer managing 2-3
Yeah.
that know the inner workings of
inner
it?
workings. I
And
think
you've got
having that.
AI, you've got agents coming
Yes.
out now where the agents will just run through, building that system. The dev's getting better. It's not quite there, but
That's
if you've
right.
got those foundations at the moment, as you
Yes.
said, a couple of months, because it's
Couple of
really
months, I
cutting.
think
It's
we're
not
gonna-
any like, oh yeah, we'll see that in a couple of years.
Yes.
It's this time next year.
Boom, that'll be a whole different game.
It'll be here.
Huge, right? Because NVIDIA, they put out a report saying, and now they're going to upgrade
They're
all their
spending
servers, like $1 trillion. They put us, they say it's going to cost
just their
to
chips
upgrade.
too, their graphics cards for training.
They are
things,
AI chips, right?
AI specialized
chips, right?
cards. So.
It's like even Meta, Zuckerberg, they are building their, AI, processors as well.
Yeah, they've got the Llama, haven't they?
They got the Llama.
Meta
That's
Llama.
that's LLM obviously, but they are building the hardware, the chips as well.
Oh,
yeah. They are hardware. Because if you want to corner the market, guess what? You have to build from procurement.
And the thing where you look at these billion, trillion-dollar companies, is they have to get on there now because it only gets better,
of course,
and it needs data to
needs
learn.
that.
So it's a literal race to get to where you are. If you fall behind, the market will just go somewhere else.
Of course, and I think knowing that how much investment, right, is going, these guys are, putting out numbers that scares the bejesus out of me, right? And like, wow, this, like, if they're putting that much money, like, on just building AI, and then, what else can they, they're saying like by end of maybe this year, end of this year or early next year, that you will have ChatGPT running on your phone,
on your hardware,
without having interconnection.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's a whole different ball game. Then guess what? You have your personal assistant with you constantly.
PAs,
right? Yeah. Have you seen that movie Her? Her, Her. Man, that's like
but
so it's like a virtual girl. So the phone itself turned to like a girlfriend, right? It's an AI girlfriend.
I've seen the
trailer,
Black Mirror episode of the AI boyfriend. The partner dies, and she gets the prototype.
Oh my god, yeah, that was
I've
weird,
been catching
man.
up with Black Mirror. I'm the only person. I was like the last person in Australia to watch it, I think.
Mate, I think Black Mirror is like it's crazy, right? I love
a lot of
it. They already got the whole quantum computing.
They've got the recording one too.
Which one?
There's an episode on there where everything will be recorded. Meta's new Ray-Bans they've just come out releasing, and then you will be able to rewind at certain points of the day.
Yes, that's right. And watch
no more meeting note AIs are out the door. You just got it in your Ray-Bans where 12 o'clock. What did Cozzy say in that meeting?
Hey, about that one, I'm going to stop you there, right? I'm going to just before I forget, right?
Yep.
Having AIs in meetings, taking notes, I don't like it.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah. For me,
very dangerous.
This is what my this is what look, it's
because
easy.
They own everything that's said in that meeting.
Yeah, right. We client says, okay, let's sign an NDA. So we sign an NDA, but who signed the NDA with that note-taking bot?
No one.
Defeats the purpose of.
They don't let you have an NDA.
They don't, right? It's only one way thing.
We're going to use this to train and do whatever else we want.
100%. Exactly. So,
which corporate espionage? What do these companies get? You don't know. They're all so new. They're all so new. Like, that's the one thing I do the trust test. Like, all right, how long? Like, 5-10 years from now, this company's going. They've been trusted. They've gone through. Okay, there's something there, but a lot of these companies only spun up a year to 6 months ago.
That's it. They don't have the runs on the board,
and
right?
If they go broke,
who gets the data?
What are they planning to do with the data? Or if someone comes and buys them out for a small amount for that data and those companies, all they have to know is one person from the company is using it. So
that's it.
The rest of the company, Samsung, for instance, is using it. So, I'm going to buy this first chance I get.
That's crazy. So let's go back to talking about AI and its usage, right?
Yep.
When you come to large corporations, right,
Yep.
with AI, I think I see the biggest place where, for me, add value is security, like cybersecurity,
Yep. Yep.
where your networks are being constantly be scanned, and not a scan in like let me scan your
It's your own.
machine.
It's a PA hacker. Are you saying, Cozzy?
Yeah,
A
it's
personal assistant hacker.
personal assistant, hacker, what, just a monitoring system and just constantly making improvements.
Yep.
Like if we can make the codes, it's not that hard to improve and look out what's happening in the network, whose machines got what software, because at the moment it's already like we have this thing called SOC and SIEM in the networking world, right, for
Yep.
security, right, monitoring and responding accordingly, right. Now I'm just thinking like if you have a constant AI running, and hopefully the AI would not get smart enough to hack you and ask a ransom from you, right? It could happen, right? If you think about like Tesla, right? The cars start auto driving, right? And so they're going to earn their own money. The car will go and does its own service because it will be your crypto, right?
CBDCs.
CBDCs. It will not be crypto, it will be CBDCs. Let's be honest, right? Right? And the car will say, okay, look, okay, pay me money, and then guess what? Humans love becomes like we start paying these.
We get to do bigger and better things, I say.
I like that as well. I like that outlook. But again, like what I'm saying is like there are areas that with a bit of control, a bit of thought process to go into it. But if you think everything's going to be fine, then I see it's a security, cybersecurity.
Yeah, well, it's like the one I shared quite a while ago. I don't even remember the and I said that for one of our security things of looking at it, where it was from 2 Minute Papers. They've got a YouTube channel, the 2 Minute Papers, and they do all cool little short videos on stuff.
Yep.
And it was the AI versus the AI game.
Yep.
Remember that? And they were playing like it had to be hide and seek, and they seek, and they have a block where they can hide behind, and the other AI's got to catch him before they do that.
Remember that.
I'll send it through to you. It's a good YouTube channel, 2 Minute Papers. And anyway, the AIs go back and forth. The other one catches it and spots it in the vision, and it resets and goes through again. And then anyway, the AI keeps hiding behind this block and blocks itself into this little square in the corner. And the AI that had to catch it kept running through.
Yeah.
Then suddenly it started glitching the game and doing stuff that the developers outside the box thinking, where like it would like a glitch of like if it hit this so many times, it could bounce out over top of the block doorway and get it. And then if it went to the other side, it jumped way out of the map and managed to get it. And it's a cool one. It was like
reminds me of Wreck-It Ralph, the movie. It's glitching. You haven't seen that one?
I have. I don't remember. I think I was just sitting there while my kids were really watching it. But
same with me.
But yeah, it goes outside of the norm of like an NPC, and now they're doing AI games, which I shared an after hours the other day of spinning up that NPC world that you can do now.
So NPC, what's that? What does it stand for?
Non-playable character, but all these NPCs are AI, and you program the LLM to give them starting characters, memories, and then I'm still yet to do it, but I shared it with the team in our chats.
So the AI model, you code the AI model to...
You code the model to be character, and it's like a little town. It's like a Pokemon,
like extras in a movie.
Just a pixel. And you code them all. You can change the code. There's a GitHub repo. You pull it down.
Yeah.
You can adjust them to how you want, like a little town of these NPCs.
Yes.
Then the interesting part comes is you start them off with their characters and basic memories. Then they start creating their own memories and have a self organizing little robot AI town.
So they don't become, then they're not NPCs anymore, because then they're going to, they are playing.
Yep, and there's also been ones I've seen where people have taken that obviously code source and put it into like a Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
And said to the NPC, like the AI NPC, like, you're just the NPC in a game, and there's like funny reactions and stuff on it. Like, no, I'm not. And like they talk and back and forth, and it's going to be fun and interesting. But yeah,
that's crazy, isn't it? So, all right, Charlie, I think.
But yeah, sorry,
we can go on about talking about.
And business would be speed up processes. Yep. Automation, obviously, and anything you've got to do repetitively.
Yeah,
you can train an AI to do that. Risk management and also cybersecurity. On this episode, we'll come back with more.
I think
and NPC Town, if you want to entertain yourselves at work and have your own little NPC on the TV.
On the TV. So, and I mean, like, look, we are always up for a good chat. And talking about good chats, what's happening next week, Charlie?
Next week is our meetup.
Yep.
We've got our meetup happening. Duke's Parlour, Surface Paradise, 3rd of October.
3rd of
Tuesday.
October.
Doors open, 6 o'clock. We've got Dibs from Pummel that's going to be coming and showcasing their project. Bringing blockchain and fitness together, incentivizing fitness. So if you're in town, come down, check it out. We've got drinks, pizza on the house, and a lot of good people to network with in the blockchain and emerging technology space.
Yeah. Oh my God, I could not say it any better, mate. Well done.
Thanks, cousin.
And I think on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a little bit like spread out, but we just kept it, blockchain, programming, and AI. So, guys, please share, on Twitter, retweet, on Meta, what do you do?
Feed that algorithm.
Feed the beast. Help us out. And if you guys have any questions
or ideas on future podcasts you'd like us to talk about,
100%, right?
Yeah.
I think it'll be really cool to hear from you. And I just want to thank everyone who joined us today. And because of you guys, we just kept it going, and this is our 53rd, and I can't wait to the 100th episode. So we are we are over the halfway mark now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So awesome. So, guys, again, thank you very much for all the social media platforms who join us. So my name is Kosi, and I have Charlie here with me, and sitting in the front of us is our producer? Is it Nathan? Who's that producer?
AI media bloke.
Media bloke.
AI media guy. Hey, you better get that domain before it's taken, Nathan.
On that note, guys, thank you so much, and we'll catch up with you guys at the meetup on Tuesday. If not, at our next podcast happening close to the end of next week.
Yep. Okay? Have a good weekend, everyone.
See you later, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Subscribe.